In the dying light of a September evening somewhere in the forests of central Mexico, a single leaf trembles, not from wind but from the weight of 10,000 wings. Orange and black cascade like living stained glass through the sacred fir trees, each butterfly no larger than your palm, yet together they carry within their delicate bodies one of nature's most profound mysteries. This is not merely a gathering. This is the culmination of an impossible journey, a pilgrimage spanning continents, generations, and the very boundaries of what we thought possible in the natural world. These monarchs have travelled over 2,000 miles, guided by nothing more than ancestral memory, encoded in wings lighter than paper, following magnetic maps they have never seen, to arrive at a place they have never been. Welcome to Animal Uncovered. I'm your host, and today we embark on perhaps the most extraordinary tale in all of nature, the insane life cycle of the monarch butterfly, a story that will challenge everything you thought you knew about time, memory, and the delicate threads that bind all life together. Part 1, the genesis, egg to caterpillar. Picture, if you will, a single milkweed plant swaying in a Texas meadow. Its leaves are broad and green, glistening with morning dew. To most creatures, this plant is poison. Its milky sap contains toxins that would spell death for the unwary. But to one small traveller, barely visible against the dawn sky, this plant represents hope itself. She's a fourth-generation monarch, born somewhere in the northern reaches of Canada. Her great-great-grandmother once roosted in these very Mexican mountains we spoke of earlier. But this butterfly has never seen those sacred forests. She carries within her tiny brain, no larger than a pinhead, the accumulated wisdom of countless generations, encoded in genes older than human civilization. She alights on a milkweed leaf with the precision of a master artist approaching a blank canvas. What happens next is both utterly mundane and completely miraculous. From her abdomen, she deposits a single egg, translucent, barely visible to the naked eye, yet containing within it the entire blueprint for one of nature's most remarkable transformations. According to research from Monarch Watch at the University of Kansas, this egg is just 1.2 millimeters in diameter, smaller than a grain of rice. Yet within its gossamer shell lies potential so vast it defies comprehension. The female monarch will repeat this process up to 500 times across her brief life, each egg a lottery ticket in the great game of survival. For 3 to 5 days, depending on temperature, that egg develops in solitude. Inside, cells divide with mathematical precision, following instructions written in the language of DNA. The Smithsonian Institution's research reveals that the developing caterpillar can actually taste its future home through the eggshell, chemically analysing the very leaf that will become both its cradle and its first meal. And then, one morning, breakthrough. A tiny caterpillar, no larger than a comma on this page, chews through its own beginning. Its first act in this world is to consume the very shell that protected it. Waste nothing, nature whispers. Even in birth, the lesson of efficiency. This newly hatched larva faces a world designed to destroy it. Birds, spiders, ants, wasps. All see it as nothing more than a tender morsel. Its only protection is the very poison that courses through the milkweed it must consume. But here lies the monarch's first act of alchemy. It not only survives these toxins, it incorporates them, becoming poisonous itself. The caterpillar begins to eat, and eat, and eat. In the words of Dr. Anurag Agrawal from Cornell University, whose groundbreaking research on monarch milkweed relationships has illuminated this ancient partnership, the monarch caterpillar is essentially a living conversion machine, transforming leaf matter into butterfly potential at a rate that borders on the absurd. Over the course of just 2 weeks, this tiny creature will increase its body weight by more than 2,000 times. Imagine a human baby growing to weigh over 12,000 pounds in 14 days. It is a feat of biological engineering that challenges the very laws of physics. Part 2, the Great Transformation, Molting and Metamorphosis. But growth comes with a price. The caterpillar's skin, its exoskeleton, cannot expand. Like a knight outgrowing his armour, the larva must shed its constraints to continue its impossible journey toward becoming. 5 times in its brief caterpillar existence, it will undergo this process, ecdysis, scientists call it, molting. But these are not mere wardrobe changes. Each molt represents a fundamental reorganization of being itself. Watch closely as the caterpillar prepares for its final transformation. It has eaten enough milkweed to poison a small bird. Its body, once pale green with delicate black and white stripes, has become a living repository of botanical toxins. It climbs, following an instinct older than mountains, seeking the perfect branch, the ideal angle, the precise location for the most important moment of its existence. Research from the Xerces Society reveals that the caterpillar can distinguish between hundreds of potential pupation sites, evaluating factors we're only beginning to understand: humidity, airflow, predator pressure, structural stability. This creature, with a brain smaller than a match head, makes decisions that would challenge a team of engineers, and then begins perhaps the most mysterious process in all of biology. The caterpillar spins a silk pad, anchors itself securely, and begins to shed its skin one final time. But this is no ordinary molting. What emerges is not another larger caterpillar, but something else entirely, a chrysalis, a jade-green chamber of impossibility, decorated with golden spots that catch sunlight like captured stars. Inside this emerald sanctuary, magic happens, and I use that word deliberately, for what occurs within the chrysalis challenges our understanding of life itself. The caterpillar does not simply grow wings and add colour, it dissolves. Through a process called histolysis, the caterpillar's body is broken down into a soup of cells, imaginal soup, scientists call it, and the poetry of that term is not accidental. From this cellular chaos, groups of cells called imaginal discs, which have been waiting dormant throughout the caterpillar's entire existence, suddenly activate. Dr. Bernd Heinrich, whose decades of research on insect physiology reads like nature poetry, describes it thus: the butterfly exists as a dream within the caterpillar, waiting. Every monarch caterpillar carries within it the complete blueprint for wings it has never seen, for a life it has never lived, for journeys it has never imagined. For 10 to 14 days, reconstruction occurs. Wings unfurl in the darkness. Compound eyes assemble themselves one facet at a time. Reproductive organs develop. A proboscis forms, coiled like a watch spring, ready to taste nectar from flowers the caterpillar could never have conceived. But perhaps most remarkably, the nervous system reorganizes itself completely. The caterpillar's simple brain, designed for crawling and eating, dissolves and reforms into the complex navigation computer that will guide the butterfly across continents. Recent research published in the journal Current Biology by Dr. Stephen Reppert and his team at the University of Massachusetts has revealed that monarchs possess what amounts to a biological GPS system, a combination of circadian clock, sun compass, and magnetic field detector that rivals anything human technology has achieved. And then, one morning, emergence. The chrysalis, now transparent as tissue paper, splits along predetermined lines. What crawls out bears no resemblance to what went in. Orange wings, still crumpled and wet, slowly pump full of fluid. Black veins trace patterns that seem almost like calligraphy, nature's own script, written in pigment and chitin. The new butterfly clings to the empty chrysalis shell, wings expanding and hardening in the morning sun. For a few precious hours, it exists in perfect stillness, allowing the miracle of its transformation to complete itself. Part 3. The Impossible Journey, Multi-Generational Migration. Now comes the most astonishing chapter in our story. For if the transformation from caterpillar to butterfly strains credibility, what this newly emerged monarch will attempt borders on the impossible. It is late summer in Minnesota, perhaps, or southern Canada. The daylight is shortening, temperatures beginning their slow descent toward winter. This butterfly, emerged just days ago, has never flown more than a few hundred yards. It has never seen the ocean, never crossed a desert, never navigated by starlight. Yet encoded in its genes is a map to a place it has never been, the Oyamel fir forests of central Mexico, over 2,000 miles away. This is not the butterfly's parents' migration. They died months ago, after making the journey north in spring. This butterfly is part of what scientists call the supergeneration, monarchs born at summer's end, whose bodies are fundamentally different from their predecessors. They are built for endurance, not reproduction. Their reproductive organs remain undeveloped, their fat reserves enlarged, their lifespans extended from weeks to months. Dr. Lincoln Brower, whose pioneering research at the University of Florida earned him the title the Monarch's Protector, spent decades unraveling this mystery. His work revealed that these supergeneration butterflies can live up to 8 months, 10 times longer than their ancestors, all to complete this impossible journey. The migration begins with seeming chaos. Individual butterflies, following their internal compasses, begin moving southwest. They join others, and others join them, until the sky fills with orange and black, a river of wings flowing across the continent. They fly at altitudes up to 10,000 feet, riding thermals like feathered raptors, conserving energy for the marathon ahead. They navigate using the sun's position, compensating for its movement across the sky with internal clocks precise to the minute. When clouds obscure the sun, they switch to magnetic navigation, sensing the Earth's magnetic field through magnetite crystals in their antennae. Research published in Science by Dr. Ely Schleiserman at the University of Washington revealed that monarchs can actually see magnetic fields as patterns of light and shadow, a sensory experience so alien to human perception that we can barely imagine it. They cross the Great Lakes without hesitation, their tiny bodies trusting to air currents over water that could mean death if the wind fails. They funnel through the Rio Grande Valley of Texas, where volunteers from Journey North count them in the millions, waves upon waves of determination wrapped in gossamer wings. But here's where the story becomes almost mystical. These butterflies are navigating to specific groves of trees they have never seen, using landmarks encoded in the genes of their great-great-grandparents. They must find, among all the mountains of Mexico, a handful of forests between 9,000 and 10,000 feet elevation, where temperature and humidity create the perfect conditions for overwintering survival. And somehow, impossibly, they do. By November, up to 1 billion monarchs cluster in just 12 forest sanctuaries in the mountains of Michoacán and the state of Mexico. They hang from oyamel fir branches like living ornaments, so densely packed that branches bend under their collective weight. Here they enter a state called diapause, not quite hibernation, but a slowing of all life processes. Their metabolism drops to near zero. They survive on fat reserves accumulated during their epic journey, burning calories so slowly that they can live through months of Mexican winter. Part 4. The circle continues. Spring awakening and return. Come February, as daylight lengthens and temperatures warm, the forest awakens. The monarchs stir from their winter dreams, their bodies beginning the slow process of sexual maturation. For the first time in their 8-month lives, romance beckons. Courtship among monarchs is aerial ballet. Males release pheromones from specialized scent patches on their wings, chemical love songs that drift on mountain breezes. Successful pairs spiral earthward in mating flights that can last for hours, locked together as they tumble through shafts of filtered sunlight. By March, the great dispersal begins, but these worn travelers, their wings now faded, their bodies depleted by the impossible journey, will not make it home. Instead, they begin the return journey, flying north into Texas and the southern United States, laying eggs on milkweed plants awakening from their own winter dormancy. This is their final gift, a new generation, born of impossibility, carrying forward the ancient contract between monarch and milkweed, between butterfly and continent, between memory and hope. The cycle will repeat 3 more times through spring and summer, each generation pushing further north, reclaiming territory lost to winter. But only the final generation, the super generation born as summer wanes, will possess the miraculous ability to find those sacred forests again. 4 generations to complete one cycle. Great-grandchildren returning to trees their ancestors knew, guided by memories encoded in DNA, following paths written in magnetic fields and sunlight. It is inheritance beyond imagination, legacy beyond understanding. But this ancient story faces its greatest challenge in our modern world. Part 5. Threats and Fragility. The monarch's epic journey depends on an unbroken chain of milkweed plants stretching across North America. Yet according to research from the Xerces Society, we have lost over 165 million acres of monarch habitat in the last 2 decades alone. Industrial agriculture has converted prairies to monoculture. Herbicides have eliminated milkweed from millions of acres. Climate change disrupts weather patterns that monarchs have relied upon for millennia. What was once a corridor of plenty has become a landscape of scarcity. Dr. Karen Oberhauser, whose research at the University of Minnesota has tracked monarch populations for over 2 decades, reports population declines of more than 80% since the 1990s. The eastern monarch population, which once numbered close to 1 billion butterflies, now hovers around 100 million in good years. Pesticides pose another threat. Neonicotinoids, widely used in agriculture, don't kill monarchs outright but affect their navigation systems, leaving them lost in landscapes they once navigated with precision. And climate change may be the greatest challenge of all. Extreme weather events, the storms, droughts, and temperature swings that are becoming increasingly common, can devastate migrating populations. The delicate synchrony between monarch life cycles and milkweed phenology is being disrupted. Yet hope persists. Part 6. Wonder and Hope. Across North America, people are planting milkweed. Schools create butterfly gardens. Citizens participate in monarch monitoring projects. Mexico has protected the overwintering sanctuaries as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Because we have learned something profound from the monarch story. We have learned that the impossible is routine in nature, that the miraculous is every day, that within the smallest creatures can be found the largest truths. The monarch butterfly teaches us that time is not linear but circular, that memory can transcend individual existence, that navigation is as much about faith as knowledge. It shows us that transformation is not just possible but inevitable, that what seems like ending is often beginning. In a world of unprecedented change, the monarch's ancient journey continues. Each autumn, new supergenerations take to the sky, carrying forward 4 million years of accumulated wisdom in wings lighter than air. They remind us that resilience comes not from strength, but from adaptation, that survival depends not on conquering nature, but on understanding our place within it. The next time you see a monarch butterfly in your garden, pause. You're witnessing not just an insect, but a living testament to the power of inheritance, the mystery of instinct, and the endless creativity of life itself. This has been Animal Uncovered. Till next time, keep wondering.